Hello, my dear astrology family. Satsang at Astrology. I am back from hiding. I've been in a meditation retreat for a couple of weeks, and I know that I have been absent for a while in the channel, but even though I am kind of late for the eclipse season, but I think I have a few ideas that I would like to share with you and could be very useful. So, um, as I said in this video, I will start talking about the solar eclipse happened 19th, 20th of April 2023. Depending on where on the world you live, it happened overnight. So it was visible in Western Australia and in the ocean there. And if you are in the United States, you probably didn't see it, obviously. But there are a couple of ideas that I would like to share about that. And I will talk the in between eclipses and the lunar eclipse in Scorpio happening on May the 5th. So in order to start that, I want to remind you that I am in social media, but I am also actively accepting clients and readings. So you can find all the information in the in my blog, Satsang at Astrology, blogspot.com. You go to the tab that says what I offer and how I work, and you'll find all the information about each kind of reading and the pricing. So I will now start sharing the chart for the solar eclipse in Aries. As you already know, it happened at 29 degrees and 50 minutes of the sign of Aries in the decan of Sagittarius and ruled by uh, Jupiter. But one detail that I hope it didn't pass, you didn't pass, was that this eclipse was hybrid in two different ways. So first of all, it was a total eclipse, the first part of it, and the second part of it was an annular eclipse. It's called a hybrid eclipse, right? So we have the whole consciousness, the sun, covered by the unconsciousness, the moon. And in the end, there was this light around the moon that was showing just a little perception that there is something over there behind the unconsciousness. So we had just a little light that showed us that there is something there. So for us, it was also hybrid in the way that it happened straddling across two signs. So as you see, it was in the 10 last minutes of the Aries sign. So pretty fast, just 17 minutes of time after the totality, it went to the sign of Taurus, and the moon was, of course, approaching the North Node. So this eclipse happened in both signs almost at the same time, just 17 minutes of time of difference. So we can consider the meaning and the interpretation that we have an initiation, right? Aries is initiatory. We have a start, a beginning, and then we go down to earth, right? We launch something and it goes down. And what does this remind you of? Exactly. The SpaceX starship explosion, right, happening right after the launch. And if we keep in mind this image, it really symbolizes the meaning of this initiatory energy. Because if you observe, the ruler of Aries is Mars in Cancer, is a very protective. Mars is the family warrior, the emotional warrior, the protector, right? And the deacon of Scorpio, which is very intense. And this Mars is very far from being debilitated, as many astrologers might think. It's not at all. Mars in Cancer is very strong in protecting what is ours, our family, our emotional core. So it goes very deep inside. It may not be very outgoing or demonstrative, but it's very intensely inward. But this is very, very interesting because this Mars is applying to the square to Chiron at 16 degrees, which will perfect by the first quarter, the first waxing square of the moon to the sun. So the first quarter square will be the perfection of this Mars Chiron square. And what does it mean? Well, it means that this initiatory, this initiation that Mars is doing, it doesn't go anywhere. It's hurt at the core. It is hindered by this Chiron square. So it is a good start. We go ahead and start something, but it doesn't go far because of the pull of this Chiron. So there is some wounding very deep inside that doesn't let us go and achieve this start. Is a false start. And I have mentioned in previous lunations and previous reports that we have had several false starts. If you listen to my videos before, and so we are making starts, but not yet, right? Is hurry up, but wait. So keep that in mind because the other thing is that Mars is out of bounds until the beginning of May. So still probably around the lunar eclipse, Mars will still be out of bounds. And I can check the date. If I have a good light here, I can read the date when in May, Mars falls out. Well, Mars goes out of bounds until the 6th or 7th of May. So yes, next lunar eclipse, you will have the end of Mars out of bounds. What does it mean, out of bounds? Well, it means that it's out of limits, and meaning that the behavior of this Mars is extreme one way or another, that it is impossible to contain it, that is a very strong Mars. So don't think that this Mars in Cancer could be debilitated. Not at all. Absolutely, I don't agree with that. First of all, is in the decan of Scorpio, ruled by Pluto. Second of all, is out of bounds. So here we have this sense of that we need to protect what is ours. We need to protect our families, our core essential emotional security. So this is the meaning of this Mars, and is of course is hurt by this Chiron that is fighting for its existence, right? Chiron in Aries, we're actually at the edge of extinguishing life on Earth. So, as you see, Mars may want to protect us and all, but this Chiron is representing what we are doing to life on Earth, life, our own life, etc. So we are putting ourselves at risk of extinction and putting species in the world at risk. So, as I said, this initiatory energy is just a false start. Okay, so the other thing is the in-between eclipses, because this this degree 29, 50, and 0 will be activated several times. And to get started on the 20th of April, just the day after a few hours, let's say, after the eclipse, the sun enters Taurus, and what happens? It squares Pluto. So, and this is Pluto as squaring this eclipse squaring Pluto. It is essential for this transformational initiation, right? And it's not on the chart here, but there is a planet called Haumea that is at 0 Scorpio at the moment here. So this, in fact, this eclipse forms a T-square with Pluto and Haumea. And Haumea, as I explained before, represents the power of nature, the power of the earth to regenerate itself. So nature has this resilience that brings life from all the parts of its body, right? All the parts of the earth's body are capable of regenerate, as we saw during the pandemic lockdown, right? We saw nature to flourish in just a few weeks. So, but the problem is that humans, we are not giving the earth the time to recover. We are exhausting nature. So this is what represents. That's why I say this initiation doesn't take off because it's not time yet. And I think we will see the initiation more fully when Saturn joins Neptune at 0 degree of Aries, right? So we've seen the previous lunation at 0 Aries, and I talked about this false start as well. So it is very obvious and evident. Now, so the 20th of April, we have the sun activating this T-square again. We have then on the 27th of April, the moon will again be at 0 degree of Scorpio or 29 of Libra, and will again conjunct Haumea and activate this solar eclipse event again. So we will see a lot of activations of this eclipse before the next one. So it's very, very important to consider these days, as I said, 27th of April. And then we have on the 1st of May, Pluto stations retrograde. And that is a super extra powerful day because we have, let me activate that. So you see the chart. I said the 1st of May. Here you have the 27. Now we have the 1st of May, we have the S here of Pluto stationary. And as you see, also we have Mars approaching the opposition. I'll tell you when that happens. It's in May. But on the 3rd of May, we have Pallas Athene opposing, it's not here, but is opposing Pluto. And here we have Pallas Athene in Leo, so representing the strategies of authority, opposing Pluto, so empowering themselves. On the 4th of May, we have the moon squaring Pluto again. Let's see, the 4th of May. We have the moon in Scorpio squares as the 3rd quarter square. Of course, it opposes the sun in the eclipse later on, but it first of all squares Pluto and opposes the 0 degree of Taurus. So the moon here will early in probably the 3rd of April, or between the 3rd and the 4th of April, the moon makes the T-square again. So every time a planet makes an aspect to this eclipse, it will be an activation, meaning that something will happen related to that. So take note of those dates. Then we have the 17th of May. Okay, so let's speak about the 5th of May, which is the, I have another chart, so let me, it's already cast. So I will, just a moment, I will I will share the chart for the lunar eclipse in Scorpio, and here it is. So here we have the Scorpio lunar eclipse. We have the sun at 1458 opposing the moon, or the moon rather opposing the sun at almost 15 degrees. So in the middle of the fixed signs. So this degree, 15 degree, is a crucial degree as well as the 0 of the cardinals. So it's called the pillars of the universe. So because of the stability of the fixed signs, this degree is very, very strong in astrology. So you can expect global or mundane events that will affect everyone in the world. So that happens on the 5th of May. And one thing to remember is that, I hope you're seeing this chart. Yeah. Let's see. No, you're not seeing this chart. So just a moment, I will share. Let's see. Okay, there it is. I need to close some. No, this is not the one that I want. I will be with you in a Okay, here it is. I hope you can see it now. The sun in Taurus, the moon in Scorpio, with the north node just 10 degrees apart. And one thing that I wanted to point out is that this is a culmination or a full moon, also the completion for the solar eclipse in Scorpio that happened October 25th, 2022, at 2 degrees of Scorpio. And that one was conjunct Venus. Remember that that was in representing some kind of economic crisis, and it was about the inflation. It was about debt, taxes, especially here in the United States. We had a crisis of budget, right? That the Congress is still dealing with, and they don't know what to do, or they are fighting about it. So this is a very important point to make, because this issue started at the solar eclipse in October. So in your personal life, you need to go back to your journal and check October 25th, what was happening around issues of finances, taxes, income, mortgage, inheritances, financial investments, and such things, as well as sources of energy, because Scorpio is the energies that we share with other people in order to ensure security. For example, we buy insurance in order to secure our security, if you like the redundance, right? So we are buying our security, and that is how we associate with other sources of energy in order to become more secure financially and energetically. So it also talks about the union of when you have in Libra your partner, right? You are joining energies as a couple in order to make life more secure, right? At least one is one of the reasons why people get married, in order to form a society that is stronger than the individuals. So here and then we have this axis of material stuff, of energy, right? Because Taurus, the sun in Taurus represents this need for stability, for autonomy, finding the own sources of energy. And this eclipse is closely tied to Uranus and also Mercury and Sun. The Sun is sandwiched between the two of them. Although the Mercury is retrograde already, it went to 15 degrees, approximately the degree of this eclipse, and it was turning at that degree, turning retrograde on the 21st, right, one day after the solar eclipse. So Mercury on the 21st was already speaking about this, the meaning of this eclipse. So those days from the 19th to the 21st, you should have heard, learned, talked about some themes and ideas of this eclipse. So now we have the sun illuminating this 15th degree where Mercury was before, giving it light, and also being applying to the conjunction with Uranus. So in just for 3 days, the sun will be highlighting Uranus. So we are here ready to get a big surprise. a big surprise regarding our money, our desires, and the needs that we have in order to sustain our life. So Taurus is that source of energy that we need to sustain life. And as I said, the moon in Scorpio is looking for ways to ensure that we share, right? But it's with the south node. So here the moon is just surrender, letting go of those insurances, mortgages, debts, loans. We need to leave those behind. Those don't give us security right now. So we are focused north node in the thrive and the endeavor of looking for autonomy, how to get our own money secured, how to get our resources together in order to survive. So this may represent a huge crisis in the world, as I said, because of the 15th degree of fixed signs. That's one of the things. Remember, the Mars is still out of bounds until the following day, May the 6th. So Mars is the traditional ruler of the moon, Scorpio, and the moon is also in the decan of Neptune. So this lunar eclipse talks about losses, dissolution, as I said, dissolution of mortgages, of insurances, of all shared money. So it is very clear to me that Scorpio drains, the south node drains, Neptune dissolves. And Mars, the traditional ruler, is also in the decan of Neptune. So I think it's very clear that here we're talking about losses. So then you need to make sure that you are safe, right? Mars is striving for safety here, that you have enough to survive. So make sure that you have some cash at home, that you have food storage, water, medicine, etc. Because something, there is a loss here, a loss of energy, a loss of resources. And with this lunar eclipse, you might feel kind of physically drained. Um, so then, uh, what else can I say? Well, I think it's pretty clear, right? And yeah, the south node is approaching the conjunction to Haumea. So, and in the decan of Scorpio, ruled by Pluto. So there is a huge transformation and losses as well for the possibility of the Earth to regenerate. And remember that Pluto is squaring Haumea. So this is pretty powerful times where we need to reckon with our behaviors and our priorities, desires, right? Our desires, Taurus. We need to put in order our resources and get our priorities in line with the situation. I will go to the 17th of May as well. So let's do several days here. May 16, we have Jupiter entering zero of Taurus. So now we have Jupiter activating the solar eclipse, activating the T-square, Jupiter opposing Haumea and squaring Pluto, reactivating the solar eclipse, and also conjoining pretty soon the North Node. So here Jupiter is traveling towards the North Node. The North Node is traveling towards Jupiter. So pretty soon they will be together in a few days. And we'll see that. So then 19, just 2 days after, we have the new moon at 28th. Let's see, maybe one more day. Yeah, here. And we can do hours. Here we have the new moon at the end, 28 degrees, about 30 minutes of Taurus. We have the new moon in Taurus. And in this is at the same time we have the another activation of the solar eclipse, because Saturn in the sign of Cancer, the decan of Neptune, is opposing Pluto and squaring Jupiter. So we have here the activation again of the solar eclipse. So we have this solar eclipse for a while, as you see. And 21st of May. Oh, I want 21st of May. We have the exact opposition between Mars and Pluto, and already Jupiter passed to 1 degree. But meaning that this T-square will last for a few days, right? Because Mars and Jupiter are slower than the moon, of course, and the sun. So this T-square, and in fact, is the Grand Cross, because Haumea is over here, and we have the nodal axis as well. So we have a Grand Cross. And when you have a Grand Cross in fixed signs, we're talking about stubborn energy, things that don't want to move, but have to move, because squares are cardinal energy. So we have cardinal energy pushing a rock, pushing a mountain, right? We have this bulldozer pushing a mountain. So especially considering that Mars is so pushy, right? And Pluto is grinding and is demolishing, and Jupiter is magnifying all of it. So this 21st, from the 17th of May to the 22nd of May will be crucial days. So we don't discard an aggravation of the war, maybe more violence in many places of the world. Of course, with this Taurus overpopulation for about a month or so, with the sun there, Mercury retrograde, the sun conjoining Uranus and the North Node and Jupiter, we have an intense Taurus, right? So people are struggling with material stuff, with the essentials to keep alive, right? In many countries and places of the world, people are hungry. People are actually dying of hunger, right? In famine. So there is a limit, right? And we've seen protests and revolutions everywhere, Europe, Africa, in many places of the world, if you keep up with the news. So I try to keep up with the headlines, but I don't want to go much deeper because it's so depressing. But you may, watching this, you may have experienced or may be experiencing these kind of financial, economic problems, food shortages, high inflation, and banking problems. So it is a period of great stress, and we will culminate. Let's change month. Let's do July 22nd, and I'm gonna show you something very interesting. So here we have Mars opposing Saturn, and we have at 6-7 degrees, Mars opposing Saturn. And we have the Sun opposing Pluto and T-square with Haumea still. So we have again an activation of the solar eclipse in Aries, because we have the nodal axis again at the degree of the solar eclipse. So we have this grand cross, nodal axis, Sun, Pluto, plus Saturn opposing Mars opposing Saturn. And so we are then under high stress here. As I said, this solar eclipse of 19/20th of April, we will see much activation throughout since April through the end of the summer, I would say. So get ready, get prepared for struggles, high inflation, food shortages, all kinds of problems. Mars is in the sign of Virgo, opposing Saturn. So this is wanted to fight, but on the other hand, we need to stop, and we are hindered by the Saturn opposition. So this pull and push that we need to balance. So I greatly hope that all is well in your life, and that you will be fine, that you will be successful in riding these waves, but at the same time, we need to make sure that we get this information right, that we are taking measures in order to protect ourselves. Mars in Cancer is looking for intensely for security in our own families, our own country, right? So you will be seeing countries that are taking more protective measures. And we will probably, as I say, we will probably see worsening conflicts around the world, huge revolutions, people in the streets claiming for their lives, right? Their livelihoods as well. So I'm sorry that the news are not very happy, but take care and receive all the blessings that you need. I hope all is well, in spite of everything that is happening around you. And I would like to share something about my meditation retreat, because in fact I deeply changed my perspective on things. I would like to say that the more you go inside, the more peace you'll find. So even if the world is falling apart, you yourself can keep it together inside yourself by going inside, looking at yourself, and uh, finding the peace inside of you. So that was my experience. You may make your own, but as I said, this is an experience that you may choose to have if you like. To live in peace is possible um, in spite of everything that is happening outside. So thank you for listening, and I hope to hear your comments and reflections, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.